morning, ladies and gentlemen. David here. It's been a while. I've been very busy, but here we are again. And this week is a new ATLUS release week, which not necessarily the most exciting release for a lot of people, understandably so, because it is a port of an older game. That being said, a good game. And in today's video, I want to be clear and concise. This is 8 things that you must know before buying Persona 3 Reload on Nintendo Switch 2, which is set to release on October 23rd, 2025. I made a previous video on the channel covering everything that you need to know so far about P3RE on Switch 2. The reason why I'm making this video as well today is because this video is old and some information grew outdated. I played the game myself with the free demo that I highly recommend you guys check out, and that gave me a lot of insight that I did not cover in that previous video that I want to put in this video for sure. And also in that video, I covered some information from the official Nintendo China webpage, which turned out to be incorrect. So I definitely wanted to clear that out as well today. So here we are, and let me start with the things that you must know that might not be the most positive stuff that you want to be made aware of before making a purchase. So the first thing that you need to know is the price. If you look at Persona 3 Reload on other systems, it's $20 pretty much everywhere physically. So if you have an Xbox, PS5, PS4, and even on PC with sales, it's constantly on sale under $30. So on Switch 2, it's a new game. You would expect a cheaper price since it is a 2-year-old port, but that's not really the case. The Persona 3 Reload launched at $70 on all platforms. Well, now it's $60. So they took off $10 for a 2-year late port, which I definitely don't think is enough, unfortunately. But if you've never played the game, Persona 3 Reload is definitely worth $60. I definitely had my money's worth when I spent $70 back in early 2024, but I just wanted to point that out. If you have other platforms, way cheaper everywhere else, unfortunately. Now, I am a physical video game collector. One of the big issues with Nintendo Switch 2 is game key cards. Persona 3 Reload is only getting a game key card, so there is no physical version of Persona 3 Reload coming to Switch 2. If you want to own Persona 3 Reload, you either buy it digitally or you buy a license to play it on a little cartridge, which is a game key card. So no real physical version, which means that unfortunately that game will not be on my shelf. That is a bummer. If you don't care about that, not really a negative, but I figured this is one thing that people would like to know for sure before jumping in, because to me, that's important information. The first new thing that I needed to talk about after playing the game is the performance on Switch 2 is not the best. And that's something that you would expect, but it's unfortunately underwhelming even compared to expectations that you have when playing on a portable system. There is frame pacing issues that a lot of people notice. Now, when I played the demo myself, if you go and watch my preview, which is going to be linked in the video description, I found it very okay. I thought the frame rate and everything was fine, and I couldn't really notice big issues, but I know I'm not someone who notices a lot of frame drops in games. I can struggle, not even struggle because it's not really a struggle for me, but I can make it work with frame drops. I played SMT5 Vengeance on Switch and I was fine with that, and a lot of people were like, it's unplayable and stuff, so just keep that in mind. My recommendation is check it out yourself because, again, a lot of people are talking about frame pacing issues. But again, check it out for yourself. I think that is the best way to know if it's going to be an issue for you, like a lot of people, or if you're like me and you're like, hey, it's fine to me. Find out. The main issue, which I think is a big bummer, and I think this would have been a great opportunity to justify the $60 price tag since it's a late release, is Reload has a lot of DLC. And by a lot, I mean a ton of DLC. A lot of crap, to be honest, but one DLC which is consistent content, very decent content, which is episode Aigis, which is a whole ass epilogue for the game, which is something that was released on PS2 with another re-release of P3, which was Persona 3 FES, which added an epilogue called The Answer for the character Aigis, and that was kind of on PS2. They made it much better on Reload, for sure. So I think it's worth playing. Unfortunately, all the DLC and also episode Aigis, all of that is not included. So at $60, you're only getting the base game. If you want to get all the DLC as well, you can either get all the DLC, which is like cosmetics, new music from other Persona games, new personas from Persona 4, Persona 5, crap like that, stuff that I honestly really don't care for. If you do, that's fine, no problem. I don't care. All of that crap can be bought for 90 USD, okay? So with the digital premium edition that they have. But if you also want to get episode Aigis, which is not included, that's an additional 30. So if you want all the DLC, that's double the price of the base game. That's 120 USD, which is crazy. And that's the price. Everything about pricing for this release is garbage, in my opinion. I'm just being honest. The game is solid. I have a lot of positive to say about that release as well. But when it comes to pricing, I can't defend anything. I definitely don't think it's worth that price, unfortunately. But I'm just being honest with y'all. That being said, I also want to say ATLUS games, they go on sale very quickly. So if you want to get this thing on Switch 2 because you're a Switch 2 fan, fine. Wait. Honestly, y'all, in a year, you're going to get it for 30, I'm sure. So just wait, okay? I think that's a good option for sure. The final thing, which is a negative, once again, for a bunch of people, not so much for other people, is the frame rate is at 30 frames per second. So on Switch 2, the game runs at 30 frames per second, like on PlayStation 4. It runs at 60 on all other platforms, Series S included, and that is a big bummer. The Switch 2 could definitely handle 60 frames if you look at other games on the platform, how they run, and what type of game they are, even if they're in Unreal Engine. This is a game that could definitely handle, that could be at 60 frames on Switch 2. I am sure about that. They even told us so in interviews, but they decided to go with a locked 30 to keep the visuals of other platforms, which I think is a stupid argument because you could just give us an option, which is something that most devs do. Performance mode, you lower the resolution a little bit, make it 60 frames. That's it. And then you have the better visual option, which is at 30. I think that would be fine. That being said, this is a slow-ass turn-based RPG. I think at 30 frames per second, that's perfectly fine. I played P5R on Switch, and I thought that was awesome at 30 frames. So it's up to you. If it's a big deal, okay, skip it. If it's not, well, here you go. That's not really a negative, but I definitely wanted to point that out because, once again, that is important information. When it comes to the positive stuff for the Switch 2 version, playing it portably and even docked, it looks awesome. It looks visually very, very similar to other platforms. Playing it on that big ass screen handheld looks amazing. I thought that was probably the best way to play it. When I was playing it with the demo, my experience playing it handheld was like really mind-blowing. Like, man, this is really cool. And again, that is something that when it comes to visuals, I talked about their argument before when it comes to the frame rate, but visually speaking, they made it work. It looks very, very, very good, and this game is a gorgeous game. So if you want a game that really showcases what the Switch 2 can do in terms of visuals, this is definitely the RPG for you. It looks awesome, gorgeous game, gorgeous UI, gorgeous visuals, everything in and out of battle. Very solid. So highly recommend it when it comes to that, and very proud of what they accomplished here with the visuals. That being said, I would have been fine with an option to lower those sexy visuals to make it 60. I think this would please more people. Fortunately, that's not a thing. The second thing that I wanted to talk about is Persona 3 Reload is a fantastic game. That is a positive in and of itself. You are getting an amazing game that ranked over 90 on Metacritic, absolutely solid. And when I reviewed Persona 3 Reload, I said with confidence that this is, in my opinion, the definitive version to experience a PlayStation 2 classic with Persona 3. The visuals are amazing. They nailed when they recreated scenes and environments and even music. They made it in a great way. They recasted all the voice actors and they made that work. Like, there are certain scenes that I don't like as much as in the original, but most of it is there and is better there in Reload, and that's why I don't think I'm going to go back to previous versions, especially when it comes to how the game plays now. It plays way better than all previous versions, whether it's the PSP portable version of the game or the PS2 versions. So this, I said it with confidence early 2024 when I first played Reload, and I'm going to say it again, I'm not going back to previous versions. You're getting the best version of Persona 3 here on Switch 2. And then finally, the one thing that I want to say is, to me, the Switch and Switch 2 is the best place to play role-playing games. I am right now on Trails in the Sky first chapter, and that game on Switch is a blast. I have a very busy lifestyle. I am not able to play enough games as much as I would like to, and I have a portable system that I like so much. So to me, I'm able to do a lot of compromises to play on a handheld system. I know that PC gaming handhelds are a thing. So if you have that, that's an option there. Most people don't. It's a very niche market, let's be honest. Very expensive products as well. The freaking ROG Ally is like a $1,000 device right now without a dock. So this is a cheaper alternative. It works well. And again, this is the best way to play JRPGs in my opinion. When there's a JRPG out, like a freaking Final Fantasy Tactics, why the hell would I play this anywhere else than on a handheld device? That's just my opinion. My PS5 is being used for exclusives, which there isn't a lot. But again, Reload to me was how I played it because it wasn't on a portable device that I own. And it is also for visually impressive experiences like a Gran Turismo 7, you know? But Switch, JRPGs, that's where I played them. So, hey, Reload on Switch, if you are planning to buy it day one, I'm sure you're going to have a blast with it. There is a lot of compromises, though, that you have to go through, and that's a bummer. I really wish Atlus would support Nintendo in a better way. I think Nintendo fans deserved at least the DLC if you want to charge full price again. But again, complaining is not going to change stuff, so it's just me being transparent with y'all, and you have the right to your opinion. So if you disagree with my opinion when it comes to pricing and everything, totally fine. Not a problem at all. You deserve the right to your own opinion. So thanks for watching, y'all. I appreciate it. Happy Persona 3 Reload Switch 2 release week, and see you next time. Bye.